trying to reel them into medicine.
Yeah, one of my main objectives for the book is to, like lower childhood anxiety. Just when I was researching a children's book, there's just not a lot of books with people that look like me and you as the
Yep.
protagonists.
Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Amari and you're watching Journey to MD. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also press the notification bell so you get notified every time a video comes up. So today I'm very excited because I'm joined by Dr. Saneisha Roberts, who's a pediatrician at Long Island. And Dr. Saneisha wrote a book and it is titled Amari Goes to the Doctor. And so we're here to talk to her about it today. Do you want to say hi?
Hi everyone. I'm just so happy to be here. I love the platform. I feel like it's something we as medical students need. So I'm hoping you guys enjoy all the videos because I've been enjoying them myself. So just thank you for having me.
Oh, that's so sweet of you to say. Thank you so much for being here. Let's just start a little light. We're trying to get to know you. Yeah. So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? What are you about?
Yeah. So hi everyone, I'm Dr. Saneisha Roberts. I'm a classmate of Anul, and we went to St. George's University School of Medicine together. So a recent med school graduate, and I'm going to be a pediatric resident officially starting July of this year. So yeah, I've always been into pediatrics. When I was born in Jamaica and I moved to America, specifically Brooklyn, New York at the age of 4. So I'm a Brooklynite. And I've just always loved my pediatrician's office. So I would say my pediatrician definitely was my spark to wanting to go into medicine. Yeah, and I'm sure we'll get into it later. But yeah, when I did first come to the country, there were things that were a bit confusing for me in the doctor's office. But when I met my new pediatrician at the age of 9, I just loved everything about her and everything about the field of medicine. So definitely a big driving factor for me.
Yeah, and that says a lot about how, sometimes as young children we view people of authority, and the fact that your pediatrician had so much of an influence on you, obviously she did something very right for her to be able to guide you towards that path, and you're kind of now following in her footsteps in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I aspire to be just like her, just starting residency, not just the medical knowledge, but just that compassion that I think all healthcare providers need to show their patients. So.
Exactly. Does she know you wrote a book?
No, so I've been trying to find Dr. Ignacio for like the past 2 or 3 weeks.
What?
I went to the clinic that my mother used to take me when I was a child, and it's just like it's renovated, so it's a new clinic, and I've been having a hard time. But I think I know the hospital I need to contact to see where she is now. So she doesn't know, but I'm gonna find her.
She'll know soon.
I'm gonna find her soon.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the book now that we know a little bit about you. So the book is obviously very beautiful. I looked at it and I was like, I definitely want a copy of that. It's like the colors, everything. I have read it more than, I think I've read it twice because it's not
I love it.
to read. And then I think I was telling you earlier that I read it to my little sister who is 12 and she enjoyed it as well. So
I love to hear the stories. Yeah.
So what inspired you to write this book?
Yes, thank you so much for supporting me through all of this, and I'm also just purchasing the copy for yourself, and I hope you just continue to read it to your family and friends.
I'm gonna get more for like my little cousins and family friends. Okay. We're trying to reel them into medicine.
Yeah, and that one of my main objectives for the book is to like lower childhood anxiety. But if there's any kids out there, they may be interested in becoming a nurse or a doctor, this is the book for you. Yeah. But yeah, just what drew me into the writing the book. So about this time last year, or maybe like around January of last year, I was working on my personal statement for residency, and I just remember talking to remember that time, that stressful period. Yeah. And I just remember going to my friend who's always helped me edit my work or just brainstorm ideas with me. And just that opening paragraph for our residency personal statement. It's so important. You know, we're trying to like draw the reader in, and my opening paragraph was my time at the pediatrician's office, and I just remember struggling with it because I just wanted to find the perfect words. But after I figured it out, I was just like, I wish there was something for kids to see or to read and know that the doctor's office isn't uncomfortable or like a scary place. And my friend who I was FaceTiming at the time, she was like, "But you can write that book." And, you know, a lot of doubt, a lot of, no, maybe someone else, not me. And then finally, I was like, after some days, I was like, yeah, I could do it. So I would say that definitely was my spark, just having someone in my corner to say, oh, yeah, you can write this story. Of course. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And that shows the importance of having good people in your corner, people who can push you towards greatness, you know? Or
Yeah.
just like say that one idea that just sparks something in you. And obviously kudos on you for, you know, talking yourself out of your doubt and going for it. So that's really inspiring.
Shout out to Renee. I'm always gonna shout her out because I was just
shout out to Renee.
doubting myself a lot, and then you really just need those people in your corner. That's whatever doubt you may have. There's always going to be like those people who encourage you and say, "No, but I see this for you, and you can do it."
So, have you always been a writer? Is that like something you've done before?
No, I've always wanted to be a writer. Like I always joke, like you look at my transcript from college and, I had my sciences because, we had to take our physics and our bio and all that. So I had those classes. Some of them were a struggle session. But I had a lot of literature. So it was like my break from the intense sciences, right? So I took a lot of literature courses during my 4 years in college, and I always wanted to write, but I never challenged myself. So I would take notes or highlight sentences or words that I really liked that the different authors used, but I never wrote myself. So this definitely was like my first project of hopefully many. But yeah, I actually never wrote anything before this.
Wow. For someone who never really wrote before, you did such a great job. Can I just say? So,
thank you.
If you're out there, you think you want to write, you like it, go for it. And, we may be sitting opposite talking about your
future author at author table soon.
Come on. So, that's actually very inspiring for me because I used to write as a child when I was younger. But then I kind of stopped because of life and everything. But
girl, get to writing. You don't just have to be a doctor. Like you could be an author, a writer, illustrator.
With the struggles of residency. You kind of told us about your pediatrician's office and how that shaped your experience as a child, and even brought you through the journey of wanting to pursue medicine, and even eventually pursuing medicine and now becoming a pediatrician. So, was there a specific thing that inspired you to write about Amari?
Yeah, it's always so. There are multiple things. Just going back to my story, my mother used to like pull me into the office. I had like a lot of catch-up vaccinations that I needed that I didn't get when I was in Jamaica. So my recollection was just a lot of you're getting this injection, and I'm just crying. Like, what's going on? Like that's how I remember the doctor's office. So it's definitely inspired from that. And then it wasn't until my mom switched me to another pediatrician at the age of 9 that she was like, "Oh, we're doing this because of this. Like, I'm listening to your heart because of this." And then just that additional, like, how are you feeling? What are your emotions like? How do how do you feel when you're around this person or this place? And I think prior to that, I was like, I didn't know doctors cared about that. I didn't know they were supposed to ask that. So I was like, oh yeah, I want to be like Dr. Ignacio because she's just cool. She doesn't just care about my physical health, but also my mental health. And just additionally, now that I've tapped into the literature world, and just when I was researching children's book, there's just not a lot of books with people that look like me and you as the protagonists. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, we're gonna get some melanin on these pages so that kids, like little kids that we once were, can read it and say, oh, I could be little Amari or I could be Dr. Daisy. Yeah.
You're just gonna casually put up the book.
Promo.
Yeah. And that's actually one thing that I, noticed right away on the book. It's 2 Black beautiful women on the cover of the book. And, throughout the book there's diversity inside, so it's not just Black people, but like the fact that the main character, the protagonist, is a black young female, and the doctor is a black woman. It's just so inspiring. So
yeah,
for children out there who don't see themselves on book covers,
exactly.
such,
Yeah, and I
great
just envision this going. I'm hoping that it goes really far because there could be someone out there like, it could be a doctor, but maybe not. And it's like maybe they'll just see that the cover and eventually read, and they're like, oh, but look at Dr. Daisy. She's a dark skinned black woman taking care of Amari. That could be me, So that could just be that extra push they need.
Yeah, that's so cool. You are very cool. You're a very cool person.
Thanks.
So, how was the writing process? Like, how did you now have this idea from a friend? You decided that you're going to do it. So, how did you start writing like all of those things?
Yeah. So, I just remember jotting down. Like, I don't know if you're like me, but like when I have a project, I'm like, yeah, we're getting all the information down, and it's very continuous for me. But I knew before I even started the rhyme scheme, because my book is a rhyme scheme. Yes. For those out there who like rhymes, the whole story is told in a rhyme scheme. I knew I had to get down just the backbone, right? So the book actually was longer. I was jotting down, oh, we need a scene with the stethoscope and the ophthalmoscope and abdomen exam. I even had a neuro exam in there at one point. Just things we learned from our time on the island. But I had to shorten the book, so I got rid of some things for the kids. But who knows? Maybe part 2 will have those other things. Yep. But I kept in like key things like stethoscopes or the abdomen exam or one of the biggest things that bring children anxiety, getting their blood draw. So I kept those. I would say I started like that. And when I had like my top 6 or 7 things I wanted to talk about, I just started a story. I was like, she's going to be home with her mom scared. But that was me. And then she's going to meet the nurse, and then she's going to meet the doctor, and they're both going to take their time to explain what this visit's about.
Yeah, and the story kind of just walks us basically, like you said, from Amari being at home, being very unsure and kind of anxious, and her mom, explaining to her, we're going to doctor's today. Oh, I shouldn't give away the whole story. Never mind. Go read it for yourself. Okay, and then it just walks her just a little bit, and it walks her towards like what actually happens when you go to a doctor's visit. So for those out there with kids who are going for their appointment, and you want to explain to them what's going on, and you may not have the words, or you want them to be able to see it visually as well, this is such a great book for people like that to pick up and read to your children. It's called Amari Goes to the Doctor, in case you forgot. One of the big parts of the book is the illustration. It's beautifully drawn, the colors, everything just so well thought out. And the book is illustrated by Dr. Joshua Okoro Sokor. I really said that right, Joshua. Please have mercy on me by this. So what was the process of figuring out how you wanted the character to look, or the characters to look? What was that process like?
Yeah, so I knew I just was not an illustrator. So I knew I had to find someone who drew vibrant, just beautiful pictures. And I definitely wanted to support. After going to some workshops, I was encouraged to support people who I knew, like people in my circle, just to help them, put a light on them. So I don't know if you also know, but I used to just see Dr. Joshua Okurosoko, always post these like images on Facebook, and I was like, no, he's perfect. And also he's in the medical field, so he would know exactly what I was talking about. So within like a day or 2, I wrote to him. I was like, hey, Joshua, I have this project I want to do, this book I want to write. I know love for you to illustrate it. And he was so excited. He signed right up. Like, of course, I broke everything down for him just so he could have an idea of the entire project. But yeah, so that's how it started. And then, then we got into like the characters. After I told him about the storyline, we got into the characters and the melanin I wanted on the pages, or even the diversity in the waiting room, because I would say the waiting room is one of my favorite spread in the book, because you're just seeing everyone. You're seeing, like an Asian family. You're seeing a teenager in a hijab. He even put my family members in there. I don't know if some people caught that. But I was like, can you put my aunt and my nephew and my niece and my cousin? So I gave him a picture, and he even put them in the waiting room. So it was, from start to finish, it was amazing working with him. You know, he's just very kind, and he wanted this out there just as much as me. So it was good to know that I had someone else working with who was just as driven for the project as well.
Yeah.
So shout out to Joshua. Thank
Shout
you.
out to you, Joshua. You did such a great job with the illustration of the book.
Yeah. And he's also going to be a pediatric resident.
I was gonna say, you guys are just teaming up. Okay,
we're doing it.
Internal medicine. What are we doing?
We're doing it.
As I was reading through the book, I noticed that the doctor is Dr. Daisy. The protagonist is Amari, and I think the nurse is Noah.
Yeah.
Noah. And so I was just curious as to, was there like some sort of inspiration behind the names of the characters?
Yeah, so the character names are very important for me. But to be honest, a lot of those names stuck as placeholders, and I'm glad they did. But just like to talk about Amari, I wrote to my friend T, she's Nigerian, and my friend Steve, he's Kenyan. And I really wanted a name that meant brave in like another language. So I was like asking them like, what does brave mean, you know, in Swahili and things like that. And I think the name I came, but prior to that, I kept Amari because I just always liked that name. Very random, but I just kept it when I was writing my manuscript. It was just Amari throughout. I think the name I liked the most that they presented to me, like Steve presented Amara, and I think it meant like brave girl in Swahili. And I did like it, but there was just something about Amari that stuck, and I was like, we just thank you, but we're just gonna we're gonna keep this one. And Dr. Daisy and Nurse Noah just did D and the D and that's alliteration that I wanted to play with because we're also teaching. We're teaching these kids, so I liked as a child I liked like crunchy carrots or like Dr. Daisy, so I wanted to play with that, and they were all placeholders. I would say the one that got, I guess, the most research, but honestly it was accidental how I came up, was Nurse Noah. Noah, so he's supposed to be an indigenous nurse from Costa Rica. But I was listening to a podcast, a Duolingo podcast, and that came up. And I was like, let's do it. Like, let's bring in different names. Like, we don't need like our typical names. And Noah is just an indigenous group to Central America or Costa Rica. So I was like, let's do it. Let's bring in these different names and have them in the book.
Yeah. So beyond the medicine, there's something to be learned as well in the diversity and in the names. Like, these are not your typical, Steve, Joe, whatever.
Now we're having different names. No regular Steve. None of that.
So you touched on the rhyming, and can you just explain to us a little bit more? I'm not a rhyming person. Like, I don't get those things. So just explain a little bit more.
Yeah. So like as a child, I remember my teachers they would read to us for story time, and every time like they would pick up a book that didn't rhyme, I was just like, no, like I don't want to. I always liked just guessing what that next word would be. So I knew just as soon as I started the project that Amari Goes to the Doctor was going to be written in a rhyme scheme. I'm forgetting what the exact rhyme scheme is, but it is basically each 2 lines they rhyme.
Yeah.
So the next 2 they rhyme as well. And
is it couplet?
Yeah. Huh?
The name couplet just dropped into.
You may be right. Okay. You may be right.
We have check ourselves.
We have alliteration. We have rhyme schemes. We have simile. There's a simile in the book as well. Onomatopoeia. So there's a lot for the teachers out there. So like when you're ready to get these books for your classrooms, there's definitely some things that you can teach your kids in the book.
Yeah, for sure. Like she said, parents, teachers, teens, adults, everybody get on it.
Everybody, because even adults are telling me, they're like, I'm learning stuff that I never even knew.
Yeah. Or just even how to explain things to a child sometimes. Like, yes, of course, you can learn a lot from the book, but also you can learn how to communicate to children from the book as well. But thank you for walking us through that. One thing I noticed about the book is the big words like nausea are highlighted. I think, is it nausea or nauseous? I think it was nauseous.
Nausea. Mm-hmm. Nauseous.
Yeah. So big words like that are highlighted in the book, or should I say they're boldened? And then if you look at the back of the book, there is like a glossary almost where you can find the meaning of those words. And I thought that was a really cool touch to the book. Why is that important to you?
Oh, yeah. So Okay, so there are words like nauseous, anxious, which that's one of the big words that I wanted kids to know it's okay to feel this emotion. But there's also words like stethoscope, ophthalmoscope, which is one of the, honestly, probably the biggest word in the book, and a word I probably learned how to pronounce 2 years ago.
And you spelled it in like dashes in the book.
Yeah, to break it down, because it's a big word, you know? So yeah, so it was important for me to have these words because I also wanted it to be an educational book, but just to break it down. Like I remember bringing it to some friends, like, "Do you think this word's too big?" And they're like, "No, teach these kids. Like they need to know, you know." And my sister and my mom, they're very big on like teaching me things, like when I was like 3, 4, you know. So it's never too learn to learn these words, and yeah, and I think it's all a part of the doctor's visit. So it's like if they're reading it at the age of 4, or their parents are reading it to them at the age of 4, and they may not fully know what it is, so they're gonna learn. They may come from their doctor's office and go back to the book and say, "Oh, that's what she used," or "Oh, that's how I felt."
So we've talked a lot about the book and your intentions behind the book. Honestly, you said a lot, but I was just wondering if there was anything else that you hope this book, there's a message or something that you hope this book sends to the world. And you said a lot, so if there's nothing else.
Yeah, I think just something I want to sprinkle in there is, yes, the overall my main mission is to lower childhood anxiety for children when they go to the doctor's office.
Yes.
But I think the part I want to add in that I didn't have a chance to touch on is just it's a two-way street. So like we're about to be healthcare professionals, and I'm not sure if you've experienced this, but I've been that patient in the room where the doctor just rushed me out. It's like, "What can I do for you?" And I was barely with him or her for like 5 minutes.
Yep.
So right, unfortunately, right? And it's like, but we're out here, like me and you, we're about to be in these offices, like listening to our patients and making sure they know that you can talk to us about anything. So I think it's not just for the children, but it's also for the healthcare providers, the nurses, like not rushing their patients, and the doctors who are like listening to their patients, you know? So definitely just want to better this relationship between the patient and the healthcare provider so that we're enjoying ourselves when we're in these settings.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's so important. And, you and I, like you said, we're going in there, we can change what is being done right now and change it for the better.
We're going in there. We're going to try our best to make changes. Hopefully, I'm so proud of you.
I'm proud of you too.
I always think back to when, like, we were doing our rotations last year.
In Brooklyn.
Just pushing through. And, we were concerned about certain things, like applications and stuff. But here we are now, matched, preparing, for residence.
Oh my gosh, congratulations on the match. I did not include that in the beginning of this. Congratulations to you. It's so exciting. That after such a long journey, we're here. And let this be a lesson to everyone. Don't give up on your dreams. Dreams do come true.
Yeah, never give up on your dreams. I think like one story I haven't told, but I've just been jotting down, because this is a very celebratory time. But it's like when I was in high school, I'm just volunteering at hospitals in Manhattan. And sometimes, I felt out of place. I felt like I want to be one of these doctors with their cool, like clicking heels and talking to the nurses and like a bit professional and, and it just seems so distant. It seems so, I don't think like this Black girl, like it's going to be hard for me, and the journey was hard, but it's definitely paid off to know that we're about to be rounding with some amazing attendings and our co-interns and patients. So it's just beautiful to know that we didn't give up on our dreams and we made it,
We did. And I think that you writing a book is such an inspiration beyond the characters of the book. You're a real life person, a Black female who's accomplished and who decided she saw something was wrong and you decided to make a change about it, or to at least give your input, towards making things turn into the right direction. So, don't let anything. You're not a literature major. Like, yes, you did a lot of literature courses, but like still you picked up a pen, you had a dream and you went for it. So, for those out there, if you see something wrong or you think you can make a difference in one way or the other, be like Saneisha. Like,
I love it.
Don't wait for someone else to do it.
I hope I inspire people. Yeah.
So that's very inspirational. So what's next for you?
So residency, we're getting ready for that.
Yes.
So yeah, starting in July. I mean, just personally, I'm relaxing with friends and family, but I'm also learning how to drive again. I know.
Wait, what?
People don't believe me, but I don't remember which one is the gas and which one's the brake, so I need to figure that part. I have my license though, I do, but it's just
Can
been
we
a while.
take the license for it?
I have it. I have it.
Okay, someone hold on to it. I'm playing.
Yeah. Definitely, I definitely need to drive. So right now, just like you, I think we're just getting things prepared because once we start, it's going to be, we're working, sleeping. But for Amari, currently like trying to have it translated in 2 different languages. So we're going to like just wring everything out of this book as much as we can. But I just think it's important, just for people who speak Spanish or French. Those are the 2 languages I'm working on now to also read the story. So yeah, I'm gonna continue to just spread Amari as much as I can. I know my schedule will get busy in residency, but you're still gonna see me promoting my baby and just getting it out there.
So I'm going to join you in that. I'm promoting your baby, and once again, I'm just gonna lift it up. It's Amari Goes to the Doctor. In case you were wondering, please grab a copy. It's available on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. On your website, please tell us your website.
SaneishaRoberts.com.
Yes, and I will make sure I have everything in the description box, and I will also have it on the screen, just so you have options. I will also put up the Instagram accounts, because whoever is running that Instagram account, is it you? Is it you running it?
Yeah, so many people.
You're doing such a great job.
I've had an amazing launch plan created by my friend Jasmine. So, but yeah, that's me. That's me posting and reposting and just spreading the word.
Yeah. So I'll leave the Instagram below as well. So in case people want to get more information, they can always reach out, and go on the website and look at the book. It's beautiful. Not only is it beautiful to look at, it's a wonderful read as well. It teaches every single person. There's no person of any age that can't say I did not get something out of this book. So read it for yourself, read it to others, spread the word.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure being on here. Yeah, I'm just excited to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me onto your channel. Same way you see like a lot of good things for me, just to add this, you're doing amazing work. Like me and my cousin Renee, we went to the island, we went to Grenada, and we were just confused with a lot of stuff. And it was just like someone shared something quickly, or maybe a upper termer shared something that we were like, I guess. So knowing that there are channels out here like this, that's going to help IMGs or non-IMGs or whoever just comes across it, you're doing amazing things.
Thank you.
So thank you for this.
That's so kind. Thank you. Yes. So that's it for today's video, guys. I would like to say a big thank you to Dr. Roberts once again for joining us on the channel. And, guys, make sure you subscribe if you've not. I will leave all the information below in the description box, and I'll also leave, how you can contact Dr. Roberts down below as well. So, yeah. Thank you so much once again. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Tell them to like the video. And to also subscribe if you have not, and leave a comment below letting us know what you thought about the book, because I know you're going to get it. But yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.